Welcome to part 3 in this series with Jack Tomasello.
Then we have people doing sparkling fruit wines and sparkling. Like we make a sparkling blueberry, which is phenomenal. It's just an incredible product. And it's made from 100% high bush blueberries. And it's made just like champagne's made. And we do it in classical French. We could do it in method. We could do it Charmat. We could do it either way. And it's lovely. It's just a lovely product. And but it's one of those things that's a lost product. I mean, not too many people know about it and think about it in those terms of, oh, this is really cool, you know?
The blueberry, the sparkling blueberry?
We've actually exported it to Japan, where they love it, and we sell it a lot. Mostly out of our tasting rooms. I can't say I wholesale too much of it. I think we have some retailers that buy it occasionally, but it's funny when you go to a liquor store and you walk the aisle and you see all these sparkling wines, and there's so many different kinds, and yet the shelves are always packed. So I don't think they sell as well as they probably should. You know, we should make an effort to sell more sparkling, I guess. I don't know.
Well, another question. So I know you're operating with, is it 70 acres now?
We have about 70 acres, yes.
And has it always been 70, or was there expansion somewhere along the way?
Well, we've always been around that acreage, yeah. We've been buying a lot of grapes more and more now. The land in southern New Jersey is rather expensive. Not only that, there's not that much farmland left. And we're pretty happy farming what we farm and then buying what we buy. I don't think, if I had another 20 acres, would I be a little bit happier? Yeah, I probably would be, but I'm pretty content with what I have, because what I'm growing are specific varieties that I want to grow a certain way. And I don't want to get bigger than that with those varieties. So I'm very pleased with what we're doing, what it is. Mostly everything we do is mechanical. I mean, thank God, for the past 51 years we've been harvesting mechanically, and we're on our second grape harvester in 50 years. 2012 we upgraded to a very high-tech machine. It's called a Gregoire. That's made in France. And so one operator can literally pick this whole farm by himself. So the harvest is very easy. We have machines now that leaf pull and hedge, and very, very high-tech sprayers that can deliver fungicides right to the spot. We grow grass in the middle because we do no-till, and we just mow the lawn. So we have everything is pretty much mechanical from this time of the year all the way to harvest. The most labor-intensive time of the year is when we trim. We still do that by hand. We prune the grapes by hand. We tie them to the trellis by hand. There are machines out there that will trim, but we still have chosen to do it manually. But it's still very, when you think about agriculture, it still requires skilled labor to do it. It's not just getting somebody off the street and say, hey, go do this. You have to teach somebody how to do all this. I really truly believe that as this industry continues to grow, we'll have a lot more independent grape growers than we should. That's how it's done for instance, in California. A lot of the wineries contract the fruit. In California, you don't have to have any grapes if you didn't want to be a grower that grew grapes. In New Jersey, you have to have a minimum of 3 acres just to get a winery license, and you have to have it on your property. But that's okay too. But what we want to see as the industry continues to grow is more independent grape farmers, and growing the varieties that everybody's looking for, and being able to supply the wineries. I still think we could use a lot more acreage. and we're getting it. I mean, we're starting to get it slowly but surely. More people are growing grapes. We've contracted this year for more grapes than we've ever had outside of our own fruit. And so I think we're in pretty good shape. I mean, I think it's getting better, and it would be very good for New Jersey agriculture because grapes are a high-priced commodity, and it's a lot more money to plant. The initial investment's a lot of money, but a vineyard could last 20, 30 years if you take care of it correctly. Where if you're a tomato farmer, you're plowing it under and you're starting all over again. And planting corn and you're plowing it under and you're doing it again year in and year out. With grapes, you plant the vineyard. It takes about 3 years before you start picking a crop, but once you do, and you take care of that vineyard, it's going to produce fruit for you for a very long time. I think the hardest thing that independent growers, this is where they fall into, sometimes they fall into this rut. They start growing grapes and they think, well, geez, I'm getting so much a ton for this grape, but if I were in the wine business, I could turn this into wine and I can make so much more money making it into wine. And a lot of guys do that, but it also costs a lot more money to go into the wine business because the equipment that you need is extremely expensive, and there's so many different types of machines you need. So, sometimes I think a good farmer could do very well if he can grow grapes successfully and sell them and contract them to wineries that will pay them what they're valued for correctly. And sometimes I think you would be fine doing that. I mean, I don't know if every grape grower has to be in the wine business. I don't think that's a smart idea either. Then you start, not only are you saturating the industry with wineries, it's so hard to do. I mean, you have to have so much capital to start up. I've had, I've been doing this a long time. I've experienced hailstorms, and in the wrong time of the year. I've experienced hurricanes. I've had my crops go through some serious hurricanes. Hurricane Irene is one that comes to mind. That was a nasty storm for our farm. Hurricane, the one following that, the one that the Superstorm Sandy actually wasn't as bad as the year before for us. And last year, there was a terrible hurricane that actually hit Hammonton County, missed us. So they had their share of it. Everybody seems to have experiences with bad weather. And like you said, I mean, your plans can totally change in one day. It's a very intense, like I said earlier, grape growing is extremely intense. I tell anybody, if you like your summer months and you like to take vacations during the summer months and enjoy yourself, you don't want to be a grape farmer. I don't leave town or leave southern New Jersey for 3 months. I mean, I'm literally an hour away from the farm. No more than an hour and a half or 2 hours away, especially near harvest. I mean, I literally don't leave and I'm watching, and thank God today it's a lot easier than it was when I started, because now you have satellites and weather stations, and there's all kinds of different type of websites you can go to go on sites and look at other people's weather computers. One of my winery neighbors has a weather station on his farm, which is only a mile away from my vineyard, so I could tap onto his weather station and see exactly what's coming, what we anticipate, diseases we're going to have from the result of what's coming, and get a general idea what I'm going to have to do next, and that's and then when the closer you get to harvest, the more that is really, really important. I've experienced some of the worst weather right after Labor Day. That week, those 10 days after Labor Day seem to be the hardest 10 days to deal with. And I've made decisions on what varieties of grapes I grow based on what gets ripe then. I don't want to have too many varieties to get ripe right after Labor Day, because I think it's the most dangerous time of the year. The mechanical harvester is a godsend, because a moment's notice, if you have to pick an hour or two, and I've picked an hour before a hurricane, or in the middle of the night, and if I had to, I mean, I can go out with the machine in the middle of the night by myself, throw the lights on, and go out and pick an acre or two what I need, based on where the weather's going to be 3 hours from now, and that's really critical. This is how intense it can get. You're trying to keep the fruit out there as long as you can, get as ripe as you can, trying to bring the best fruit you can into the winery. And sometimes you have to make decisions based on the weather. So that's why you have good years and you have not so good years. And that's in every market. And that's no different than Bordeaux. I mean, Bordeaux has good years and bad years, and some years that the cabs are better than the others, and the Pinots are better than the others, and Burgundy, and they have regions that have the same experience that we have. So we're probably, all of us are in some sort of poor weather pattern, unless you're in Napa or Sonoma, which they're pretty consistent. But the rest of the world does have ups and downs with the weather. I had Pinot Noir that was dead ripe, and if you were talking to Cedar Rose, he probably had a similar experience where he had something that he was going to make red wine out of, that he ended up making something else out of, because when the hurricane comes through, it may dump 3 to 4 inches of rain on your very ripe crop. I remember in 2014 with Hurricane Irene, and there was one right after that one. I think we had a total of 18 inches of rain in September in where my farm is in 2014. So you tend to make decisions, quick decisions on what you need to do something with, you're not going to get what you wanted to get out of that grape. And unfortunately, you took it all the way home. It was almost there, and you didn't bring it in because Mother Nature threw something at you. Maybe you're a week away from being perfect, and all of a sudden you get 5 inches of rain, or hail, or something that destroys it. So I mean, this is where a lot of people don't know what the things we have to deal with. I mean, a lot of people think it's just all romantic. The wine business is so romantic. Let's go into the wine business. They don't know the pain that goes into it when you have all these great ideas and then something gets totally turned upside down that quickly.
Thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe anywhere you listen.